Let's go over how to make the best two-way players in college football 25. So obviously we had Travis Hunter win the Heisman in real life. Two-way players in the video game should be a great thing. In all honesty, it's not. But we found a finesse that makes it at least usable and could be fun to do in your dynasties. If y'all enjoyed the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Go over to my Twitch for my live streaming series. So in this game, like I mentioned, two-way players it's not great, but it is a way to finesse it. And you can't really have two-way at certain positions. Like you can't have a two-way running back. Like you can't have a running back play linebacker and then also play running back. I feel like you should. I feel like you definitely should add that. But you can have a receiver play both wide receiver and cornerback and vice versa. You can also have offensive linemen also play on the D-line, so that's useful. You can have your D-linemen also play on the O-line. So that's pretty much the things we're going to cover in this video and the best way to go about it. So you want to do all of this at position change week in the off season, man. That's probably the best way to go about it. So you want to come in here to position changes, and like I said, it's really going to be wide receivers or the old linemen that you want to change. And let's say we want to move, let's go to one of the physical wide receivers. Let's do this guy right here. He's an 80 overall, 78 true overall, only 94 in the speed, but he's one of our best receivers, and he's only 78 overall. But we're going to change his position to cornerback, where he's going to transition to a 53 overall cornerback. The reason we're doing it at position change week, because he's going to develop next week and he's going to shoot up in overall. So we're going to move him over to the cornerback position, and he's going to drop in overall a lot. We're also going to do Sydney right here, who is a 77, 79 overall, low speed, so I really wouldn't want to play him at cornerback. I probably would have him at cornerback, but probably like really play him at safety, but he could also play both ways. You can also move this guy to running back. He'll turn to an 87 overall running back. Something just to keep in mind. Philadelphia PA guy, man, that's my guy. But we're going to move him to cornerback for the sake of the video, because it's the only way we can really get the two-way players. So we're going to move him to cornerback. He converts to like a 49 overall cornerback. And let's do something with the O-line, man. I want to move my best O-lineman over to the D-line. And it looks like it's going to be this left guard who's an 88 overall. He's a senior. I wouldn't probably recommend doing a guy like this, because when we move him to the D-line, his overall is going to completely drop. And this is a guy that would get drafted. At an 88 overall going to your senior year, he would get drafted. We move him over to the D-line. His overall is going to plummet. But the thing is, he'll be able to play both ways, and he'll also develop the play on the defense side of the ball. So he'll be a 43 overall speed rushing defensive tackle, and we're going to do that. We're going to move him to D-tackle, but we're going to play him both ways here, man. Let's move another O-lineman. Let's move a younger guy. Let's move KJ. He's a corner. He's a right guard. And he has 64 speed. He's 6'5", 290. Let's move from the defensive end. This time we'll move this guy. No, let's stay with the D tackle. He's going to convert to a 32 overall D tackle. So we have officially moved a couple guys. I go over here to cornerback, and I want to move a couple guys over to wide receiver. Dylan. He's a 99 speed slot corner who has some pretty solid stats. He's a junior out here, 84 on the overall, 86 with the boost. We're going to move him to wide receiver, and he should develop as well. Actually, in this case, he won't. When you see the slot receiver, they will never develop. They will never develop, just because that slot receiver is the same thing as a speed rushing outside linebacker. It's a glitch. They would never develop as a slot receiver. So let's see. Can we get another guy here? We move this guy. He will convert into also a deep threat. So let's do Kevin. He's going to convert into a deep threat where he'll actually develop, get a little bit better in overall. So we'll do that guy. Can we also do Kyle right here with the 99 speed? He will convert also to a deep threat. He's going to be a 50 overall. Just can't do the slot. Like I said, they're not going to develop. Their skill points is just going to build up, but it'll never actually go up in overall. So we moved a couple guys to wide receiver. And let's also move some D tackles, guess what, over to the O-line. Who we want to move here? Let's do this senior. He's a 77 overall. Not a great player. Let's move him to, let's do left guard. We don't have any left guards. And then let's move him to left guard. And let's also move our best D tackle, who is going to be an 85 overall. And he has low speed. We're also going to move him to left guard as well. And you could do this with a bunch of different guys, man. You can do this with receivers that's maxed out. As y'all know, receivers max out super early in this game. You'll have a receiver max out 4-star, maxing out 76 overall. You move him over to cornerback, and he'll go up to like an 85 overall. Literally, after that first year player progression, he'll go up to like 85 overall. You still can play him at receiver. You can play him on both sides of the ball. So this is what it's looking like. Let's try to remember some of these names. We got Kyle, Kevin here, the 2 receivers, the quarterbacks that we moved to receiver. Let's track those guys, see how they develop. We have both our left guards, the D tackle that we moved over to the O-line. Then we have a couple O-linemen that we moved over to the D-line, KJ and Manny here. Let's keep that in mind. Then lastly, we got 2 wide receivers that we moved over to cornerback. We got Max and then also Sydney. So let's keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and hit this advance. I'm not even going to cut it. I want to show y'all that, it actually works. I'm not changing anything. So we advance. We're going to come back in here. It's going to be training results week, and we're able to see who develops. I imagine everyone won't develop, but a good amount of them will become like actually solid players, just like this. Kyle did not develop. Kevin, a little bit, not much, but Kyle did not develop at all. He's still 47 overall, but Kevin, he's at least usable at the wide receiver position, and 70 overall, not great. Honestly, not great at all, but we still have the two-way players. The catching is a little bit low. The route running, not horrible, just not good, But he is solid. Like, he is actually solid. I wish Kyle would have developed because he had that 99 speed, but he will develop over this next year. Like, we just advanced throughout the year. It's so cheap for these low overalls to develop. He also has elite development, 5-star, great skill caps. So I imagine, like, we'll actually sim the year, and he will shoot up in overall throughout this whole entire season. I promise you that. Left guard, both of our guys went up in overall, man. We have two-way guys right here. 77 overall, 75 overall without the boost. And they both is in the 50s. And these were the D tackles that we move over to the O-line. And let's look at their actual attributes, man. And it's not bad. It's not bad, man. 86 on the strength. Also, 97 awareness. The pass block ability is not great. The run blocking ability is not great. Average for this first guy. The second guy honestly looks so much better. 89 on the pass blocking, 83 on the pass block power, 99 on the pass block finesse. Then you get into the run blocking, 75, 81, 80. Like, how is he a lower overall? It has to do with awareness. I'm sure it does. The awareness is way higher on this first guy, but the attributes on this second guy, Tyler, is way better. Like, he's actually a solid player here, man. Like, he's going to be, I probably would start him, like, over that first guy. And he also, as we know, could play D tackle. And you could do this early in a guy's career. I recommended probably doing it, like, after their sophomore, junior year. But you could do it early if you want. And we also here have our D tackles. Manny, not so much. Like I said, every single guy won't develop as much as, when you move their position. He's up to a 63, 66 overall. Not great. He's not a great player here, man. The block shedding, 76. The power move, 76. Not amazing. The strength is in a good spot, good speed. He's a good athlete out there. Speed rushing D tackle, you don't really want him to convert to a speed rusher, but it is what it is. KJ also not great. 72 overall, just don't look amazing. 99 on the awareness. The finesse moves is pretty good. Power moves trash. The block shedding is actually elite. 89 on the block shedding. Like, he's a solid player. He's all the way buried on the depth chart. But he's not a trash can, man. Like I said, this only 1 year player progression. If you keep him here, go through another year player progression, he'll develop to be a much better player. Let's look at our cornerbacks here, man. And where are they at? Sydney. I mean, Sydney turned out to be an 82 overall. I feel like it always works the best when you move a wide receiver over to cornerback and not the vice versa. When you move a cornerback over to wide receiver, it doesn't work as well, but you need the two-way players one way or another. And Sydney here is now a 82 overall. Speed is still on the lower side. The coverage ability is actually solid. 86, 77. I mean, that's pretty solid for a man-to-man corner. Good catching. Like I said, the speed is just a little bit on the lower side of the spectrum, but it's still going to work out. Only 1 year player progression. He still could get a lot better. I'm not mad at it. And then our other guy, Max here, I would consider him a true two-way player. Like, he is, I'm not going to call him Travis Hunter 2.0, but he is actually like the best two-way player we have out of all of these guys. He's a sophomore too. And as a cornerback, 98 speed. He's up to an 83, 85 overall. The coverage ability is not phenomenal, 76, 72. You can also put this guy at safety. You don't have to keep him at cornerback. He's at cornerback, but you could play him at safety. Good tackling, 81 on the tackling. I don't know. I feel like this is a guy you definitely play at safety with that 98 speed. Also, good jumping, good catching ability. And he's also going to be a very good wide receiver here, man. 99 awareness. And he's only a sophomore. He's a true sophomore. You could redshirt him. He could get a lot better with just his coverage ability. Press triangle on him. He's elite development, 5-star. Oh my goodness, no skill caps. Nasty work, Max. That's what we doing, Max. You rarely see players with no skill caps. I mean, he's going to be good no matter where you put him on the field, but he's going to be a true two-way player. So let's go to set our depth chart. And when I say Max is a true two-way player, he's an 87 overall wide receiver. Literally, he's our second best wide receiver here, and he's our second best corner also, one of our top 3 corners. And I mean, he's a guy, good catching. I mean, 89, 90 on the catching traffic, spectacular catch. The route run is in a solid spot, not amazing for the deep and the medium route running. And release is still good. The only issue here with having two-way players, they never develop on both sides of the ball. That's not how it works in this game. I wish it did. It's just not how it works. So if you want a guy to be good at both sides, you have to move him to the other position and go through all season training at that position, and then they'll get better. So if we wanted him to get better at receiver, next year we'll move him to receiver doing position change week. And it'll be the same exact thing. He'll go up in overall as a receiver. His cornerback stats will not get better. The following year, if you want his cornerback stats to get better, guess what? You move him back to cornerback and go through all season training as a cornerback. But this is a good guy. This is a guy that could literally play both sides of the ball day one. 87 overall at cornerback or at receiver. And at cornerback, he's also we just seen it. I mean, he's one of our top guys. Or he's number 4 on the depth chart. He's only a sophomore. Still one of our top guys. He'll get some playing time here at cornerback. He's an 85 overall. Also, come back over here to receiver. We had our other guy who is also pretty damn good, Sydney. He's one of our top receivers here, man. He would be our number 4 receiver. And he's an 84 overall at receiver, 82 overall at cornerback. Literally could play both sides of the ball. Speed is low, but always been low. Before we even moved him, he had low speed. But the catching is solid. The route running is also actually very good. This is elite route running for a guy, man. Gotta be. He's slow. He got to have something working for him. But no, this is a very good player here. Clearly a two-way player. Is he Travis Hunter? No, he's not. Let's be honest. He's not Travis Hunter. He's not 99 on both sides of the ball. Not yet. But can you get a guy to 90s on each side of the ball? You could, especially with a guy like Max that have unlimited skill caps. You redshirt him. You could definitely get a guy like this pretty much maxed out on both sides of the ball. Also think about in a situation where you have a guy that's, elite development, 5-star, he's going to be a 3-and-done guy. He's only going to play 3 years. He's going to shoot up in overall. It's rare, but you do see those guys come through, and when you know. If you move that guy over to another position, well, guess what? His overall is going to go down, but his production is going to stay the same. So you move him over to cornerback, his overall is going to go down, but his receiving attributes are going to stay the same. So you're essentially able to play a full career out of a guy that might have only been 3-and-done. Let's look at our other guys here, man. So we moved a D tackle over, and remember, he was an 88 overall? 88 overall at left guard, but we moved him over to D tackle. Manny, well, guess what? He's still our best left guard, and we could play him here. Wait, we already have him starting somewhere. We have him starting at center right now. That's fine. We have literally the AI, the game, literally put a two-way player in. I didn't even know they did that. That's cool. But we already have him starting as center. KJ, the other guy, guess what? We could literally start him at left guard if we want to. Where is he at? Let's go ahead, throw him in as left guard, and he's one of our better players. 84 overall at left guard. D tackle, he's a 72. So you do this when you feel like a guy is good enough already at one side of the ball, you don't need him to develop no more. Well, guess what? You can just go ahead, try to get a two-way player. Are they going to start on defense? Probably not. Probably not, especially not Manny with the low overall. But it's always the potential for them to play two ways. Like I said, I think it works a little like KJ. Like he could get some snaps here as a two-way player. 75 overall is low, but it could work out, man. You could also do it with D ends, but if you do it with D ends, like left end, only the left tackles could play left end, if that makes sense. I don't know why they did it like that. Right end, only the right tackles could play right end, and then vice versa. You go over here to right tackle, guess what? You go on the defensive guy, it's only the right ends that can play right tackle. Left tackle, only the left ends that can play left tackle. So that's just something to keep in mind here. And then we have our two corners, and then also our wide receivers that we moved over. Kevin, I mean, he's an 81 overall or 83 overall. He's not good enough to start, but I mean, he's a solid overall. On some teams, depending on what your roster looking like, could be a two-way player. Kyle could be a two-way player. Like, he's a good receiver. He's a good cornerback. I mean, he's literally could be a two-way player for you, both these guys. And you can also play, like I said, these cornerbacks that we move from wide receiver. Well, guess what? You could just start him at safety, like Max here. Put him in at safety. He's literally our best safety if we start him there. And he has that solid tackling, the great speed. The zone and man coverage is in an iffy spot for cornerback. Well, guess what? That's a good spot for safety, at least solid spot for safety. 81 tackling, I mean, that's good enough for safety. The hit power low, but hit power don't move my needle anyway in this game. Like, he's good enough to start here at safety. 99 awareness, good strength for safety, and obviously the elite speed. And he's already our starting cornerback, starting receiver. So you could definitely start some of these guys at safety if you feel like they're not good enough to play corner for you. And I think that make all the sense in the world. Even Sydney here, also better than our starting strong safety. Put him in as strong safety. The low speed, he's at 87 overall. He's literally our best strong safety here, man. Good awareness, speed is low. It's safety, that's fine. We'll work with it. The zone and man coverage is in a solid spot for being a safety. Tackling 67, low, but it's on par with the other strong safeties. Good catching, like he's a safety. This is a guy here, man. Like the two-way players is actually doable in this game. And then if you also add in the tactician boost that you'll get if you actually invest in the cross training. I never did it. I never used it. I never tested it, but it's literally right here. Pass blocking, impact blocking, like literally you're able to cross-train your players so they get an extra overall boost if you play them on the other side of the ball. Do the same thing here with the D-line, the receivers. Like literally you could do this and it'll make the two-way players even more crazier. So it actually works out perfectly if you do that. So another issue is when you play a guy two ways, it's kind of hard to see their stats on both sides of the ball. I say hard is actually like you can't see it. If you just go to the stats screen, it's like, oh, where my guy's stats on defense? Like let's say Kyle here. Yes, I know he's a 47 overall, but we press triangle on him. You come over here to stats. You actually get the full picture. Like you could look at receiver numbers. Well, guess what? You come down here to defense. You can look at his tackles, and this is his tackle. Like I said, he was a cornerback that we moved to receiver, but now we can actually see his tackling numbers. 15 tackles, 2 interceptions, and like we see his actual defense numbers, even though we have him starting at receiver, or not starting, but playing as receiver. So you're able to see their stats if you go to that screen, because if you just go to like over here to stats, season stats, like they will not pop up on defense. Like they won't pop up on that other side of the ball because they're listed as a receiver. So if you do want to see their stats, that's how you do it. So the two-way players is not perfect in this game by any means. Not perfect. Was it done right? Not at all. It should have been done better, especially when we have a guy like Travis Hunter winning the Heisman. This is the perfect year to make two-way players, you know, amazing. But maybe next year. But with this method, with this way, it at least makes the two-way players usable in some dynasty, especially like we're Georgia. We're a 90 overall team. If you're, you know, a small 2-star program and you got a guy coming in 4-star and you play him two ways, like he literally might be your best wide receiver and your best cornerback because he's just that guy. Like you could literally have that happen in your dynasty. But when you're this good, it's tougher. It's a little bit more difficult to play a guy two ways because you have good guys on every single position of the field. But other than that, if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for watching, and we on to the next one.